data. The most common sources of data collection in qualitative research are interviews, observations, and review of documents. Interview is the most common source of data collection. The person-to-person format is most prevalent, but sometimes groups interviews and focus groups are conducted. Interviews include structured and open-ended styles. With structured style, questions are determined before the interview, while the open-ended style uses the conversational format. Most of times, the interviewer asks the same questions of all the participants, but the order of the questions, the exact wording, and the type of follow-up questions may vary considerably. Focus group is a small group of individuals interviewed concerning a specific topic as a method of qualitative research. It can be an efficient technique because the researcher can gather information about several people in one session. Observation can be live or videotape. One major drawback to observation is obtrusiveness. One solution is to make sure the participants become accustomed to having the researcher. There are many sources of data, such as documents and secondary sources including notebooks, narrative field logs, and diaries. In qualitative research refers to does the researcher see what he or she thinks he or she sees. In detail, the intensive first-hand presence in qualitative study presents the strongest support for validity. Here we may want to know the type 3 error, which refers to asking the wrong questions. Reliability refers to the replicability of the study findings. In particular, the external reliability refers to the content of the data, while the internal reliability refers to inter-observer agreement. Qualitative researchers do not attempt to provide numerical evidence that their data are reliable and valid. In fact, the terms reliability and validity are rarely used in qualitative research. However, qualitative research also concerns with getting good data and reaching conclusions in which readers can have faith. Both issues are extremely important, and without attention to them, the quality of the research may be suspect. A variety of terms are used to describe quality in qualitative research. The term trustworthiness is often used to describe the overall quality of the results from the study. Data analysis is quite different from that in quantitative research. First, analysis is done during and after data collection in qualitative research. During data collection, the researcher sorts and organizes data and speculates and develops tentative hypotheses to guide him or her to other sources and types of data. Second, qualitative data are generally presented through words, descriptions, and images, whereas quantitative data is typically presented through numbers. When the data have been organized and sorted, the researcher then attempts to merge them into a holistic portrayal of the phenomenon. An ultimate goal of qualitative research is to vividly reconstruct what happened during the field work. This is accomplished through the analytical narrative. This can consist of a descriptive narrative organized chronologically or topically. Using the data, content analysis can be used. In detail, the researchers can divide text into units of meaning and quantifying units according to rules. Researchers may adopt the constant comparative method Glaser-Strauss, 1967, including compare units with previous incidents or units, sort all units into logical categories, develop rules or characteristics of categories, and come up with a theory or explanation. The analytical narrative is the foundation of qualitative research. Erickson 1986 suggested that to stimulate analysis early in the process, researchers should force themselves to make an assertion. Choose an excerpt from the field notes that substantiates the assertion, and then write a narrative vignette that portrays the validity of the assertion. Narrative vignette gives detailed descriptions of an event, including what people say, do, think, and feel in that setting. It is the fundamental components of qualitative research. It captures the reader's attention, thereby helping the researcher make his or her point. It gives the reader a sense of being there. Qualitative research can employ some quantitative analyses, and mixed methods research studies have become more common and more accepted. Frequency tables are not uncommon at all in qualitative studies. Raw frequencies of occurrences are used to reduce data. This is conceptually appropriate in studies that use some type of observational instrument that codes designated categories of behavior. One of the techniques most often used in qualitative data analysis. It requires the use of 3 independent sources of data to support a conclusion. For example, a research may use student interview data, teacher interview data, and observation to support a result. Note that this is not simple vote counting, but the use of independent types of data to support a conclusion. The goal is convergence, which means consistency of results across 2 or more methodological techniques. Writing the report. There is no standard format for a qualitative research report. The components of a qualitative study are similar to those of quantitative research reports. The first part introduces the problem and provides background and related literature. A descriptive of method is an integral part of the report. It is usually much more extensive than in other forms of research. The methodology is integrally related to the analysis and is also important in terms of trustworthiness and credibility. The results and discussion section forms most of the report. A major contributor is the description contained in a qualitative study. Narrative vignettes and direct quotations are basic to this type of research. The qualitative study strives to provide enough detail to show the reader that the author's conclusions make sense.